Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, that was nice. And welcome. If you are able and willing, would you stand for our two opening songs, Affirmation Rock and Everything New? Hold my eye out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being. I can create anything I want this life. I can create anything I want this life. The universe is on my side and I am loved. The universe is on my side and I am loved. We are powerful, creative, spiritual beings. We are powerful, creative, spiritual beings. We can create anything we want this life. We can create anything we want this life. The universe is on our side and we are loved. The universe is on our side. We are loved. We are loved. We are loved. We are loved. Ready? Here we go. Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying. I'm through waiting. I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned to bring it on.
Good job, music team. Good morning.
Good morning.
How wonderful to meet you and greet you on this beautiful Sunday winter morning, the first Sunday of February. We are just plowing right ahead, and it really is good to welcome you. And let me start out by asking if we have any first-time visitors. I think we have a couple. Please raise your hand, and we are glad to share with you a free gift. And there'll be a second part to that, right, Joey, later? Okay. It's really good to have you with us. And if you have any questions about our church or congregation, just about anybody will be really anxious to talk to you. And I certainly would be privileged to do so as well. And I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody to please silence your cell phones or any electronic devices that might otherwise make noise and disrupt the service. And now, because this is the first Sunday of the month, it is also Birthday Sunday. So anybody celebrating a birthday in the month of February, please come forward. Come on, I know it's a short month. Okay. Let's just do a verse of happy birthday.
No, February? Okay, we'll do it anyway.
I mean, there might be somebody on YouTube, the channel,
That's true. That's
okay.
true.
So let's just sing a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear wonderful YouTube. Happy birthday to you. Oops.
And many more. So at this point, I would like to invite Denise up, our prayer chaplain, to share with us today's daily word reading.
Good morning. Good morning. As Reverend Mike said, I'm one of the prayer chaplains here, and as such, if anybody wants a partner for prayer this morning, I'd be happy to meet you down front after the service to hold a sacred space, to listen, to pray with you, and hold things in confidentiality. As well, you may write a request for prayer on a prayer card and put it in the prayer box over on the credenza in the right around the corner here. And those prayers would be prayed over for 30 days here and then sent on to Silent to Unity Village for another 30 days of being prayed over. And with that, our word for the day this morning is, well, the whole day, not just this morning, for the day is dominion. Claiming dominion, I am calm and confident. I am a powerful spiritual being endowed with dominion, the authority to take command of my thoughts, words, and actions. Even as I work to change my circumstances, I remember I am not constrained by what is happening around me. Claiming dominion, I choose my response in all situations. I live with poise and confidence. I claim dominion over all my thoughts and feelings. When I recognize limiting thoughts, I train myself to affirm my spiritual power and freedom. Divine wisdom guides me. I feel the strength of the indwelling Christ presence, moment by moment, thought by thought, and as I use my dominion to establish a positive, fulfilling direction for my life. And from Genesis 1:26, then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion." And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Denise. I was remiss in welcoming everybody. I want to give a special welcome to our musical guest today, and that is Ms. Samantha Bonzi. Samantha, stand up, please, and let people see you. I was listening while they were rehearsing. You guys are in for a treat. That's all I'm going to tell you, okay? So please join with me now in praying our Spirit's unfolding vision prayer. Guided by divine wisdom, inspired by divine imagination, centered in divine love, and knowing that God is our source, we boldly move forth in faith as we allow Spirit's expanding vision to unfold in our lives, the life of the spiritual community, and our world. Thank you, God. Amen. And now I would like to invite you to please return to your feet and join in singing and praying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory
And now it's time for us to bless our children. Would our children please come forward along with your sponsors? Please join me in blessing them. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When you ask me who I am, what is my vision? Do I have a plan? Where is my strength? Have I nothing to say? I hear the words in my head, but I push them away. 'Cause I stand for the power to change. I live for the perfect day. I love till it hurts like crazy. I hope for a hero to save me. I stand for the strange and lonely. I believe there's a better place. I don't know if the sky is heaven, but I pray anyway. And I don't know what tomorrow brings. The road less traveled, will it set us free? 'Cause we're taking it slow, these tiny legacies. I don't try to change the world, but what will you make of me? I stand for the power to change. I live for the perfect day. I love till it hurts like crazy. I hope for a hero to save me. I stand for the strange and lonely. I believe there's a better place. I don't know if the sky is heaven, but I pray anyway. With the slightest of breezes, we fall just like leaves as the rain washes us from the ground. We forget who we are, we can't see through the dark, and we quickly get lost in the crowd. Oh. I stand for the power to change. I live for the perfect day. I love till it hurts like crazy. I hope for a hero to save me. I stand for the power to change. I live for the perfect day. I love till it hurts like crazy. I hope for a hero to save me. I stand for the strange and lonely. I believe there's a better place. I don't know if the sky is heaven, but I pray anyway.
I told you guys, I wouldn't lie to you. Might kid you a little bit, but I wouldn't lie to you. Well, I don't have a joke for you today because to come up with a joke that's wrapped around the word peduncles. But I do have two anecdotes to share with you. And the first goes back many years ago when my then wife Phyllis and I were socializing with some neighbors. And it was at a time when all of our kids were in that growing up stage. And always the conversation turns toward the kids. And somebody all of a sudden blurted out and said, "Have you seen Jimmy lately? He's grown a foot." Which prompted somebody to say, "What's he going to do with three of them?" And the second thing that I want to share with you is also a true story. When I was at Oak Park and coming to do a New Year's Eve service with Reverend Billings. And I got there about an hour before the service, and I said, "What are we doing?" And he said, "You're giving the talk." And I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Yeah, you're giving the talk." I said, "We didn't talk about me giving the talk. I have absolutely nothing prepared." And as he turned his back to me and walked away, he said, "You'll be fine, Michael." Well, Michael was pretty terrified, and I looked for a corner, and I just prayed, "Spirit, don't fail me now. Let me come up with something, please." And after the service, a congregant came up to me and he said, "Nice job, Reverend Mike. That was a good talk." And trying to display a bit of humility, I deflected his compliment by saying, "Well, it wasn't me, it was God talking." To which he said, "It wasn't that good." Well, I'm sharing these for you. That first anecdote is because somebody growing a foot is kind of related to the concept of peduncles that we're going to get into in a little bit. But I shared the second one with you because as I started to prepare for the talk today, I sat myself down and I had the same trepidation that I had before that New Year's Eve talk. Peduncles? Really? Where did I ever come up with such a strange topic? What was I thinking? And what in the world was I going to be able to come and say to you today? So again, Spirit, don't fail me now. It is a strange topic, peduncles. And so we ask the question, what is a peduncle? And really more important than that, what does a peduncle have to do with spirituality? And even a more important question than that is, what in the world does a peduncle have to do with our everyday lives? Okay, so first things first. Very simply, a peduncle is a stem or a trunk of life. So every tree trunk is a peduncle. And every peduncle brings with it not just its own life, but an inert capacity to give birth to still new peduncles and new life. So a peduncle is a spurt of growth. It's a spurt of life energy. And so not only is every tree a peduncle, so too is every branch of a tree a peduncle, and so too is every branch of a branch a peduncle. And any rose bush consists of a series of peduncles, stems, each capable of producing still more stems, and each stem capable of producing a really gorgeous, beautiful rose. Well, that's, you think about it, peduncles, kind of cool, right? But they still don't get us to the question of, well, what do they have to do with us in our everyday lives? And so to help explain this, I have to go back a little bit and speak about an individual, and that would be Pierre Tellhard de Chardin. And Mr. Tellhard, or I should say Father Tellhard, because he was a Jesuit priest, but he was also a really outstanding philosopher and theologian, and he was also an evolutionist. In the earlier part of the previous century, he wrote a book called The Phenomenon of Man. And in that book, he talks about evolution and the birth of the human race. And he said that when that happened, in that moment of time, when there was this transition from what was to what we now call human beings, he said the human race is a peduncle. That's kind of fascinating. And he makes a very important distinction. It isn't that we as Homo sapiens or human beings are separated from apes or whatever preceded us because of our ability to stand erect and walk, but rather it was all about consciousness. Because before then, everything that was animal operated on the basis of reflexes and instinct. And now, after that transition was made, we still had that gift of instinct about us, but now there was something else added. And that was thought. A really important capability, a really important power that each and every one of us has. And so over the course of human history, not mystery, it is a mystery, but it's history, there have been millions upon millions of peduncles. You know, when we learn to rub two sticks together to generate a spark and create a fire, that was a peduncle. And when somebody invented the wheel, that was a peduncle. When we first discovered that the earth was not flat but was round, that was a peduncle. And when the Jewish scriptures were written, that reflected a consciousness that was a peduncle. And when the Christian scriptures were written and proclaimed the good news that, wait, if you thought the Jewish scriptures were great, we're going to give you some really cool stuff, because we're going to talk about the vibrancy and the reality and the life essence that exists in the world. That was a peduncle. When the first mousetrap was invented, it was a peduncle. When we built an airplane and took to flight, it was a peduncle. When we reached out and literally touched the moon, that was a peduncle. Democracy? A peduncle. The United States Constitution? Absolutely, positively, a peduncle. And what each and every one of these things and millions of other things all share, all have in common, is it was a movement from what was. It was a movement from what used to be, not just in terms of tangible things that we could touch, that we could see, that we could hold, but a shift in thought. So the next concept that I have for you, which I think is really very exciting, maybe a little bit scary and intimidating. You, each and every one of you, is a peduncle. Okay? If you ever in your life had a new thought, a new creative concept, idea about anything, at that time, you were pedunculizing. If it ever occurred to you, geez, maybe what I've been thinking and believing all my life probably isn't real, or it really isn't so, at that moment, you were pedunculizing. And yes, folks, I am making up words as I'm going along with, so please bear with me, okay, and cut me some slack. The unity movement, a peduncle. A whole new way that deviated and said, you know what? What we've been believing and holding for centuries, it's just not fitting. And our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, yes, they were pedunculizers. And that's the last word I'm making up, okay. But they did this, and they took it to a new level, because not only through the lead of Charles Fillmore, who was an absolute intellectual genius as far as I'm concerned, and he really submitted and suggested to us all kinds of new thought, and then between the two of them, they integrated that new thought into something mystical and something that had to do with intuition and feeling and instincts. Unity of Fox Valley, this church family, it's a peduncle. And your presence here today, or if you're watching us at our YouTube channel, is testimony that you are seekers of newness in your life. That you are looking maybe for something that you can't even really articulate clearly, but perhaps a new way of viewing, a new way of getting a little bit closer to what this God thing is all about. A little bit more of an identification on some thought level in terms of what is the spirit that we're always talking about in unity, and how is it going to really make a positive influence in our lives. We take it for granted because we're thinking all of the time, and sometimes we sing out, every thought is a prayer, and we are always praying. And what we're looking for are spurts of growth or peduncles to emerge from within us. I want to share with you a scripture reading from the Gospel of John. You probably have heard about this. It's the story about the vine and the peduncles. And the reading goes like this. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes. So we'll stop for a minute. As soon as you eliminate or let your consciousness start to wane, and you're no longer in that creative mode, things get barren, okay? And if you know anything about botany at all, and I don't, but I know enough that sometimes when a stem goes bad, you remove it because it's healthy to do so for the plant. Every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes. See, this is really why you should be here, coming to the services, not just to hear the minister, but to interrelate with one another, because we need that ongoing contact, that pruning, the reaffirmation about who and what we are, and being in prayer with one another, to eliminate those things that might hold us back or hold us down. And then he goes on to say, you are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. And this is talking about the transference of spiritual energy among us and between us in order to keep us tapped into the Christ essence that we all share. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. And this is not a reference to hell, by the way. Okay? There's a metaphysical interpretation of this, is that if you're not about the business of discovering and growing your peduncles, okay, you will start to experience a type of hell in your everyday life, okay? If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. So when Jesus was referring to himself as the vine, he was really metaphysically talking about his inner Christ essence, his inner Christ energy that is important for us to remain attached to, in order that we can become the vine ourselves and grow more and more in our awareness and in our consciousness, which makes every bit of difference in the life that we're trying to live. So going back to our friend Tellhard, he comes up with another interesting concept in that book, and that is, with the advent of thought coming to us, not only do we begin to know, but with that comes that we know that we know. We all know we're going to die, right? And you might consider that knowing to be a blessing, or you might consider it to be a curse. Regardless, we know what we know. And the reason that this is so important and so significant for us is it automatically imposes, by virtue of that higher consciousness within us, a lot more work and a lot more onus on our parts. In unity, there's a very nasty three-letter word that we really don't even like to say, okay? And that is sin. And very frequently, in unity classes or unity circles, you will hear sin quaintly described as missing the mark. Okay, I don't think that sin is missing the mark. I think missing the mark is missing the mark. And I think missing the mark is a wonderful thing, because every time we miss the mark, we can make an adjustment and come closer to the bullseye and center on what we need to center on. So for me, the concept of sin, in all honesty, is something that's real. And I think that what sin is, the deliberate, conscious decision to miss the mark. I think that sin is knowing better, but choosing deliberately, conscientiously worse. You don't think this ever happens? Have you ever in your life had an experience when you knew what the right decision was and you really went in the wrong direction, a different direction, for whatever reason, for whatever pressures may be involved? You knew it anyway? I've done this my entire life. I do it all of the time. I know full well that if I could just push the donut aside or not have the third helping, let alone the second helping, I might drop a few pounds. That's going to, make my blood pressure better and my cholesterol levels better and everything else. Give me another donut. We ever do this? Have you ever said yes to a habit or an addiction? I'll give you a grand example. Over the past several weeks and months, there's been a tremendous scandal in the Chicago Blackhawks organization. And if you're not familiar with it, somebody came forward and said when he was a player back in 2010, the year of their first recent Stanley Cup, and said, "I'm being abused by one of the coaches." Now, the people that he conveyed that to, and everybody up the chain in that organization in which that information was shared with, do you think they didn't know that they were doing something not right by shutting up about it? For whatever reasons, we sometimes make wrong decisions. If you look at the political situation today and you know what's going on with our representatives, these are highly educated, sophisticated people, friends, okay? They know better on some of the decisions that they're rendering and some of the decisions that are coming forth. And let me make something clear here. I'm not trying to impart guilt here. Honestly, I'm not, because guilt is a really bad thing. And all guilt serves to do is when you suffer it, it lowers your self-esteem and makes it even more difficult to make the correct decisions. And so what I'm sharing with you right now is just trying to impart to you not just a knowing, but a feeling that you have a choice. You have a choice to grow a peduncle, a healthy peduncle, or not. You have a choice to remain a victim or to become a victor. And you know what? I understand. I get it. It's not always easy. One last piece of wisdom from our friend Tellhard. He says the world is always trying to suppress our peduncles. And it's really true. Each and every one of you, each and every one of us, and all of us collectively are under enormous pressures to take what used to be and continue it until it becomes what is now. In other words, tremendous pressures not to grow, not to explore, to stifle this gift of thought and reason that you have. And this is going on in almost all of the circles in which we find ourselves, the work circles, the social circles, even our church circles. Way back when I was a senior in high school, which is more years than I care to share with you, I did a retreat. The whole, like 10 of us from the senior class went off and we met with seniors from other schools. This was all Catholic, by the way. And we did a retreat, a weekend retreat. We got there on a Thursday night and it went until Sunday night. And the organizers of this retreat were absolutely sneaky, underhanded, and insidious. Because what they said, hey, you 17-year-olds, good news, no curfew. You stay up all night if you want to. And we did. Okay, so we would maybe grab an hour or two of sleep, and then that didn't matter. At 6 o'clock in the morning, they literally came back with one of those handheld bells, ringing it in the hall. Get up, get up, get up, get up. And we had breakfast, and then we got to sit at a circular table, until 6 o'clock in the evening, listening to some god-awful talks and going through all kinds of horrible workshops. That was Thursday night. It was the same thing Friday night, and it was the same thing Saturday night. You would think that we might have said, hey, I'm going to bed, this is crazy. No. So by Sunday morning, all of our natural cool personas, look at me, I'm high school senior, I'm cool. And everything else that went with it, it all was down the sewer. We were ready, we were ripe, and we were open. And something really incredibly beautiful and powerful happened in that very vulnerable state that we were. Without exception, 40-plus guys, cool teenagers, were filled with spirit some of us actually reduced to sobbing and tears because of what they were experiencing for the first time. So I got home that Sunday night. Peduncle killer was going to take over. And so I picked up the phone and I called somebody in my life who was a really important mentor in my life. And I said, this is what's going on. What the hell am I supposed to do with it? And fortunately, he made a couple of suggestions and got me plugged into a couple of groups that became a very significant part of my life. And this whole series that I'm sharing with you absolutely changed who I was and absolutely gave me an entire new perspective about what the world was like and what my life was supposed to be. And I promise you, I wouldn't be up here today in front of you had this not taken place, had that peduncle within me not been fed. And see, that's the thing about peduncles. They don't just happen and then they're done. They have to be nurtured. They have to be fed. They have to be watered. They have to be taken care of. And so, have you ever experienced in your life having a really keen idea about something and didn't know where to go with it, didn't know where to take it until it just went away and was gone? Have you ever had a dream that remains unfulfilled, that somehow just died on the vine that Jesus was talking about and ended up, being cast away? The single greatest regrets that human beings have on their deathbed is not anything that they did, but anything that they realized that they should have done and did not do. This is the beauty and the power and the splendor of a stupid botanical word like peduncle. And I got to clean up my language here, okay? I got to share with you. We do a pray-in now every Sunday at 9:30 with the music team and the staff. And somebody asked me how my finger was. I had an issue with my finger. And I made some flippant remark and referred to it as my stupid pinky. And Julia came up to me and she said, mm-mm-mm. And she gave me better words. And she prayed just for a bit. And Bobby came up to me and she said, we have to talk about your finger healing, after I explained to her what went on. And I flippantly, which is another peduncle killer, said, "Heal, you stupid finger." And she said, no. And she grabbed me by the hand and she held my finger and she prayed an affirmation, recognizing the healing cells, not just in my finger, but within my entire body. I'm embarrassed really to share that story with you, but it's really true. What goes on in our heads, our thoughts, our ideas, those are gifts. And any gift that we get should be opened, and it should be used, and it should be celebrated. And so just one closing sentence for you today. The charge that I deliver to you, the mission that I cast upon you this morning is simply this. Let's be a little bit more aware, a little bit more conscious, and let's just be the very best peduncles that we can possibly be. And so now, we will take that quest into prayer and meditation.
Right now, God is here with more love than we could ever need. Right now, God is here. Open your heart to receive. We open our hearts to receive. Right now, deep inside, there's more grace than we could ever need. Right now, deep inside, quiet your mind to be free. We quiet our minds to be free. And the grace is always showing, like the ocean to the shore. When the breeze of love is blowing, open the inner door. Right now, God is here with more love than we could ever need. Right now, God is here. Open your heart to receive. Quiet your mind to be free. Right now, God is here.
And so I invite you now just to really just sit back and relax. Feel the chair on your back, feel your feet on the floor, and understand you are grounded. You are in a very, very safe place. And from that place of safety, we move to a place of holy. And so I invite you just to take a breath and inhale and let it out. Grow conscious of your breathing. Allow it to become the rhythm which guides you through these next couple of minutes. And we present ourselves to the silence with a strong affirmation. Here I am, Lord. And Lord, I'm hungry and I thirst for truth, for wisdom. Help me come to those thoughts in which I can grow and become all that I am called to become. And we let go of anything that affirms otherwise or distorts that prayer. And so we repeated, "Here I am, Lord." I understand. I know that I need to be in alignment with the Christ energy. I know, I understand, and I just want to remain part of that vine in which that love, that Christ energy vibrates in me, through me, and transfers. I know that Christ's essence is absolutely nothing less than the gift of life itself. And I know whatever way I'm supposed to do it, what I'm supposed to do with it, may be unique to me, but with something that we all share. And so I invite you now just to take a few moments in the silence. Let it be by letting yourself be. This sanctuary, this room that we all share. Open your eyes as you are ready. And understand that whatever we came away with in the silence, it is now our charge to make that manifest in the world around us and with everybody in the world around us. And maybe it's something as simple as a smile, an understanding, the projecting of acceptance to the person next to us. And it's all good, and it's all beautiful. And for this opportunity to be together, to share with one another, to discover whatever, side by side, we are so, so grateful. And we say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
Has changed within me. Something is not the same. I am through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes. It's time to try to find gravity. I think I'll try to find gravity, and you can't pull me down. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing
Peduncle. Now it's time for us to go into our love offering, our sacrament of giving and receiving. Thank you so much for the dollars and the cents that you contribute in any way, shape, or form. They really help to keep us going as a church building, and they really provide a warmth space for us to come in together. But thank you all for your gifts that you share that are not monetary, your time, your talents, your efforts, your presence, in which this Unity of Fox Valley family does so magnificently. And please join me now in praying our affirmations. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of supply, and divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am, I have, I give, and I receive. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that we are, we have, we give, and we receive. Just a couple of announcements that are important. This coming Saturday, just a few days away, Unity of Fox Valley is delighted to offer a special concert. This is the King Sisters in concert, and it is this Saturday, February 12th at 4 p.m. It's a fundraiser event that will feature the musical talents of Aria, Riley, and Clarice King. This is a gift that's being shared with us, friends, okay? Come and join us and treat yourself to an early Valentine's Day experience. All are welcome, so please invite a friend. There is a suggested love offering for this event of $15, but absolutely nobody will be turned away. It is too good to not share it to anybody who wants to avail themselves for it. And fair warning, we are doing a massive spring cleaning. Please check out all areas, especially the coat room downstairs. There are a lot of items that we don't know what belongs to whom. Start taking those things home now. All unclaimed items will be taken to Goodwill or thrown out. The deadline is March 13th. Please contact Kathleen at the church office if you have any questions, and consider yourselves warned. That sounded really tough. I like it. And so now I invite you to stand and turn to your neighbor or across the aisle and share our congregational blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And know that you are empowered to do great things. And now we move into our prayer for protection and our peace song. Sorry. I was anxious to leave. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. good day.